Alright guys, J-Minerrr here, and we are back with another video. And if you're here for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are on our way to 500 subscribers. Make sure you share the video. Make sure that you leave a comment, and that'll enter you into the drawing to win a 3060 Ti Founders Edition graphics card. For our 500 subscriber, we will be giving away a 3060 Ti Founders Edition graphics card, and we will be giving away something else at 1,000 subscribers. Don't know what it'll be yet, but we will be doing another giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. Okay, so today's video is actually going to be about Intel processors. I made a little bit of a rookie mistake in the processor aspect of things by buying the wrong processor to go with my motherboard. So I just wanted to do a quick little video and an overview on motherboards and processors. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you hit the like button, leave a comment, because that's going to enter you into the drawing to win something at 500 subscribers. Okay, this is going to be a quick little video, quick little overview, because I made a little bit of a rookie mistake when it came down to processors. So we are going to go over a quick little crash course in processors and mining motherboards. As I said when I started this channel, I do not at all claim to be a professional. As a matter of fact, I am far from it. So I did make a rookie mistake. I bought the wrong processor and CPU to go with the motherboard. So just so you don't make the same mistake that I did, we are going to go over how you will do it the correct way. You're going to start your build from your motherboard and build your way out. And you're going to make sure that you get the right processor for your motherboard so you don't make the same mistake I did. Again, when I made this channel, I always wanted to share everything that I did, because like I said, if I help someone prevent a mistake in building a rig, you know, that's a good thing. You know, if you can learn from one of the mistakes that I made and avoid that, you know, you'll have a lot less trouble in building your rig. So without further ado, we're going to get into a little bit of a crash course just in picking your mining board and selecting your processor to go with your mining board. Your mining motherboard, I'm sorry. I wanted to go over something before we do our complete 8x3070 RTX rig build with what you see here. We are going to be doing an 8x3070 RTX build, a full build from the ground up. But before I do the build, I just wanted to go over a couple of things with the motherboard and the processors. I made a rookie mistake. As I said when I started this channel, I don't at all claim to be a professional. In fact, I'm just a beginner and I am learning myself. I said we would learn together, and I made a rookie mistake when buying my CPU. I didn't cross-reference my motherboard with my CPU first, and that cost me a delay in building my rig. So what I'm going to do is go over a quick little crash course in your motherboard and your processor. So what we're going to do here is we're going to explain the motherboard and how you should properly build from your motherboard out. Okay? All right, guys. So this here is a mining expert B250 mining expert motherboard made by ASUS. Over here we got an ASUS Prime Z390P motherboard. Now, most motherboards were made, you know, 2 to 3 years ago, back when the mining craze was just beginning, and most of the motherboards take an LG A1151 chipset. Now, and I'm not going to say most, so what you want to do is when designing and attempting to build your rig, you want to start with what motherboard you're going to get first. As you can see, I've got the B250 Mining Expert motherboard here on this side, which is a very expensive motherboard. I paid about $800 for this motherboard here in particular, but as you see on the box, it does say that it runs 19 cards. Now, we'll get to that in a minute, because there's a catch to that 19 cards that I did not know. And another rookie mistake, and just not doing enough research. So, like I said, I want to make sure that people don't make the same mistakes I do when building a rig. So I'm going to go over this and the mistake that I made when picking out my CPU, as opposed to picking out my motherboard and then my CPU. I did them backwards. I picked my CPU first, then I went for my motherboard. But either way, I still did not cross-reference the two. So what we're going to start out with here is this, the B250 Mining Expert. As you can see, it says it takes 19 GPUs, and this is a very, very nice motherboard. It's got slots for 3 power supplies, a really nice motherboard, 19 PCIe slots. Alright, but the thing about this motherboard and what you want to do and you want to check with any motherboard that you are going to get for your build is you want to check the CPU chipset, and you don't have to buy the motherboard first. This will be on the specs on the website of the motherboard. So all you got to do is search your manufacturer for the motherboard you're going to get, search the particular motherboard that you're going to pick up, and then take a look at the CPU that it is compatible with. That's what I did not do. So what I did was I bought the most expensive processor I could find. I'm a firm believer in you get what you pay for. So what I thought was, hey, cheaper processor, slower performance. But that is not true, because with a mining rig, your GPUs are doing most of your workload. You're not CPU mining, so your CPU isn't doing much workload. So this is another processor I bought. I went out and I bought this processor, and another mistake that I made when I bought this more expensive processor, which was $400. And then we'll go in order. These are the most expensive processor to the least expensive 2 processors. But what I didn't know when I bought this processor is, and I didn't pay attention to, is that it didn't come with a CPU fan. It doesn't come with a heatsink. And if you don't know what a heatsink is, it's the little fan that goes on top of this processor to keep it cool. Okay? Now, this one, it actually did come with a heatsink. However, it's still an LGA 1200 chipset. My motherboard was an LGA 1151 chipset, which is more these G4 4930s, those type of processors, 3900 series, those. As a matter of fact, you don't even need a processor with this much performance to run your rig. It's not necessary. So I don't want you to go out and spend $400 on a processor like I did, and you don't need it. Lucky I can actually return these 2 processors. I went to Best Buy and I went and picked up this one, just, you know, trying to be quick, saying, oh, I got to get my rig up and running. Still didn't pay attention to it being an LGA 1200 chipset. Now, you want to correlate the CPU from your motherboard down to the chipset on your processor / CPU. So these are LGA 1151 chipsets, and they also do come with a CPU cooler. So don't make the mistake of buying a CPU that's more high-end, that doesn't even come with a cooler. I guess they just more so expect that you are replacing your old CPU, so you already have a cooler fan, or that you just want to spend the money and buy an extra one brand new. And that's not what you want to do, because you can just get one of these cheaper processors and get away with it. So, price point. This was about $400. This one was about 180 bucks, and these 2 were about $120. Okay? These 2 will do more than enough performance-wise to run your rig. So these cheaper LGA 4930s, 3900s, those will work just fine. Okay? This is the Asus Prime Z390P motherboard we are going to be using for our next build. Okay, we are not going full blown with the B250 Mining Expert. We're going to go with this Asus Z390P. But this is again an 1151 chipset motherboard. So don't make the mistake that I did and go out and buy a LGA 1200 chipset or any other chipset that is not compatible with your motherboard. Okay? Like I said, I want you guys to learn from my mistakes. I don't want you to make them. If it can help you avoid a mistake in building your rig, make your experience smoother, then I felt like I did something. Alright guys, so that was just a quick overview on making sure that if you're building a rig, you want to start with your motherboard. You want to check your motherboard compatibility to your processor compatibility, and then you want to build out from there. Don't do it backwards. If you do it backwards, make sure that you are getting a motherboard that will be compatible with the CPU that you have. Also, make sure your CPU does come with a CPU fan or a heatsink or a cooler, whatever you want to call it, okay? Make sure, don't make the mistake at getting one of these more high-end processors that doesn't even come with the heatsink, and you know, you gotta have to buy one separate, because I don't advise you running a motherboard without a cooler fan on your CPU. So, that was a quick overview in CPUs and motherboards, so you don't make the same mistake that I did. Make sure, if you already haven't, you hit that subscribe button. We will be doing a giveaway at 500 subscribers, and we will be doing another giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. So make sure you share the content with your friends. Make sure you like a video. Make sure you leave a comment, because that'll enter you into the drawing to win the 3060 Ti Founders Edition graphics card. We are moving up pretty fast, so I think we will get to 500 in no time, guys. Now, we are going to get back to this build. And for this build, like I said, we will be doing 8 3070s RTXs. We will be doing them on a Veta frame, and this will be all the components that we are going to use. These are 3 extra AAA wave mining rig frames. They're the Sluice V2 12 GPU frames. We are going to utilize those for another build. So, we've already got this one already up and ready to go. We've got the fans in. So, without further ado, let's get to the build, guys.